What if I told you in this single issue of Amazing Stories, you could read 6 different authors, but only one of them is real? And of the others, 3, maybe 4, are all the same man. Greetings, legendary readers. Welcome to Larry's Legendary Library, where we explore science fiction, fantasy, and the deeper wonder within them. Today's Magazine Monday is something a little different. We've been looking at pseudonyms. We've already looked at Heinlein and Kuttner, and today we will look at Robert Silverberg. And as far as writing pseudonymously goes, Robert Silverberg may be the king. This is the July 1956 issue of Amazing Stories, published by Ziff Davis. I'll leave a link in the description if you'd like to read it and you don't own the magazine. At first glance, it looks like a typical pulp lineup of science fiction. But when you start looking closer, the names begin to shift and become blurred. Some are real, some are pseudonyms, and some may not be traceable at all. Let's start with someone who is exactly who he appears to be. The Monument, written by Henry Slesar, a professional storyteller known for sharp irony and twist endings. He collaborated with Alfred Hitchcock to bring some of his stories to television. It is claimed that Slesar coined the term coffee break. I found that interesting. And while he did write under a dozen different pseudonyms, at least here, he wrote under his own name. Now let's look at the pseudonyms, because this issue is full of them. The Planet Is Mine by C.H. Thames is actually a pseudonym for Stephen Marlowe. Marlowe also wrote under around 8 different pseudonyms, including Milton Lesser. And then we have Karl Stanley. He wrote a handful of stories in the 50s. It is obviously a pseudonym, but I couldn't figure out who. Perhaps even Silverberg. In this issue, he wrote The Last Chord, a puzzle of a story about a Nicole Viola, a police detective, a pretty girl. And well, I won't spoil the puzzle, but I did find it very fascinating. And now we'll look at 3 identities that we know Robert Silverberg is a part of. Calvin Knox. He wrote Run of Luck, where the protagonist breaks out of a prison planet, steals a spaceship, crash lands on an alien planet. He claims the planet as his own. He sets himself up as the king, and even the indigenous people seem to go along with it. And again, I won't spoil the ending for you. And then, as Gordon Aghill, Silverberg collaborated with Randall Garrett in the story Catch a Thief. 2 writers, 1 story, 1 name. Catch a Thief was another fun story where our protagonist is chasing a pretty thief. She steals a spaceship, renders our hero helpless, and things don't go as expected. Another puzzle. As Ralph Burke, Silverberg wrote the story Stay Out of My Grave. In this story, Earth has become a graveyard planet, but only for humans. And when an alien wants to bury his loved one there, even the galaxy president has to get involved. So here we have this issue of Amazing Stories. 6 different names, 6 different stories, all in the same issue. 1 story written by an author using his real name, the only story like that in this issue. 5 pseudonyms. And one of those pseudonyms, I couldn't figure out who it was. So Silverberg is the author of at least 3 of these stories, fully half of them, and he might even be behind the 4th. And that's the deeper wonder of pseudonyms. Some authors in this magazine can be uncovered, some can be known, and some, who knows, they may be lost forever. On Wednesdays, I've been doing a mini-series on pseudonyms, and this Wednesday I'll be covering house names. Next Monday, we will conclude our Magazine Monday focus on pseudonymous authors by looking at Cordwainer Smith. And all of this is part of our theme for April, The Collector's Mind. And if you are interested in any of this, I encourage you to subscribe to my channel, become a legendary reader, and follow along. If you ever came across a name in a magazine and just wondered who it was, I'd love to hear about it in the comments. I'm genuinely interested. Thank you so much for watching, and as always, keep exploring the deeper wonder.